the main road. It was an unlit, treacherous, curvy road that went through the woods and was covered on both sides by ditches. It would be suicide if you chose to drive drunk, especially at night. Now on to one of the creepiest moments of my life. I left her house around 1:30 in the morning, slightly buzzed, but was still coordinated enough to drive home. I turned my music up, lit up my high beams, and made the turn onto the main road. Less than 2 minutes away from my friend's house, out of nowhere, a lady suddenly appears in my headlights. I slammed on the brakes and pulled across the road into the oncoming lane and stopped. On the alert for a possible trap, I rolled down the passenger side window and asked if she was alright. She was probably in her late 20s, very disheveled and moving like she was walking across thin ice. After a moment, she replied in a raspy, slightly unhinged voice, "I'm very angry with my husband. I stepped out in front of your car to kill myself." No hesitation. Just admitted that to me like she was offering coffee. "Are you fucking serious?" I shouted at her. She asked me for a light, even though she didn't seem to have any cigarettes, and shambled quickly over to my car. I rolled up my window as soon as she made to reach inside. I could already smell the liquor on her. She very nearly got her fingers caught in my window as soon as I started to roll forward. Then she started screaming at me and rambling on about how she hated her husband and wanted to die. I carefully drifted forward, watching her following me in my rearview mirror as I pulled my phone from my purse and attempted to dial 911. She started banging on my trunk with both hands, and I took my feet off the brake and gave it a little more gas, just to put some distance between me and her. As the operator came online, by the light of my headlights, I noticed up the road that a red truck had crashed into a ditch. It had to have been recently as the hood of the truck was smoking. The operator raised her voice and I realized she was repeating herself. I apologized to the woman and told her the name of the road I was on and the situation with the truck and the drunk suicidal woman still following me. Suddenly from the driver's side window, there came a loud thump, and the light of a cell phone started blinding me. I turned left to see a grizzled man right in my face, shining his phone's flashlight directly in my eyes, and screaming for me to stop and open the fucking door. His face was covered in blood. I screamed so loudly that every 911 operator in the building probably heard me. I dropped my phone and floored it, leaving both the man and the woman behind. A bloody handprint staining my driver's side window. After a minute of driving close to 80 miles an hour, I slowed down and told the operator what happened. I hung up when she asked me my name, mostly because I was freaked out. I drove straight home and never called back. To this day, I don't know what their situation was or what became of them. I just know that I'm never driving down an isolated road at night in Mississippi again. I grew up in southern Mississippi, and like most Mississippi kids, my parents were super young when they had me. My mom was a major alcoholic for most of her life, and it was pretty bad back then. My dad worked all the time, which meant my younger sister and I got to spend all of our time with her. Sometimes when she needed a break from us or just wanted to go on another bender, she would leave us with my great aunt, who was 98 years old at the time and very senile. Her property also borders the state mental hospital. My grandmother used to tell us stories about being at my great aunt's house when random people would wander up to the house asking to use the phone. Sometimes they would still be wearing hospital gowns. I was 8 years old when this specific incident happened. My mom dropped us off sometime in the afternoon on Friday. My sister, who was 5, went straight to the living room to play with toy horses next to my great aunt, who was wrapped up in knitting a blanket on her recliner while watching TV. A timer in the kitchen went off, and she asked me to take some biscuits out of the oven. As I walked past a window that overlooked a large old willow tree in the front yard, I thought I saw the figure of a man under the branches. I couldn't tell if it was a trick of the shadows, so I called over for my great aunt to come check it out. When she got to the window, she pushed her glasses up to the bridge of her nose. I pointed to the tree and said, "I think I see someone out there." She squinted her eyes and studied the tree for a moment, before throwing up her hands laughing. I was so confused. She looked down at her old leather watch and whispered to herself,
"Oh, silly me, it's that time."
She began to shuffle out of the room saying,
"The bicycle man is hungry."
I followed her into the back room. She then turned on a lamp that was next to an old torn black leather couch, where a pillow and blanket were laid out. Not only that, there were 2 half-empty glasses of water on the table. She picked the pillow up and fluffed it, then began straightening the blanket. As she did this, she began to tell me how,
"The bicycle man visits me every night. We have some dinner and coffee. Then I put him to bed. He then rides off in the mornings."
At this point, 8-year-old me was completely creeped out, and I began to feel my body tremble. I moved quietly back into the living room, crawling on my hands and knees, trying not to be seen from outside the window. I locked myself in a spare bedroom with my sister, and pulled the house phone in with me. I desperately tried calling my mom, but unsurprisingly she didn't pick up. I didn't know my dad's work number, and this was before he had a cell phone. We heard the man enter the house. He had a very deep voice and was coughing a lot. I don't remember exactly what he and my great-aunt were talking about, but he used a lot of profanities and barked with laughter after she asked him a question. I distinctly remember him using the words, "bloodstains," but he kinda said it slowly, almost like he was singing it. My sister and I didn't come out for supper. We stayed there until it got dark out, and I made my sister share the bed with me as I lay awake, as still as I could, slowing my breathing so that I could hear whatever noise he might be making in any corner of the house. I don't know exactly what time it was, but I remember my heart skipping a beat when I heard heavy footsteps walking down the hall. They made their way to just outside our door. Then the doorknob started turning. I knew my aunt had a key to the room, and I remember praying that the strange man didn't know where to find it. After a moment of wrestling with a locked door, the man let out a mournful, almost disappointed cry, like the sound a kid would make after he dropped his ice cream cone. The footsteps walked back down the hall, and I stared at the door in terror, my heart pounding in my ears. I don't remember falling asleep. I just remember the sound of my mom moving around in the kitchen the next morning. As soon as I realized what time it was, I hauled ass into the kitchen and explained what happened. My mom looked really concerned, so she asked my great-aunt about it, to which she gave her the same story that she had given me the night before. I told my mom about the makeshift bed in the back room, too. We went to take a look at the couch. Another half-empty glass of water was on the nightstand, and the bedspread was messy, as if someone had slept there and left in a hurry. My mother flipped her shit, then called her friend at the sheriff's office about the stranger on the bicycle. A few days later, my mom got a call from her friend. They had picked up a guy on a bicycle who was trying to break into a house nearby. They found a knife, some rope, and several bags of biscuits on him. Apparently, he had been responsible for several break-ins in the area while he had been staying with my aunt. I tried to find some newspaper articles or anything online about the bicycle man, but I had no luck. My great-aunt died a couple of years later. As for the bicycle man, I don't remember his name or what became of him. I barely remember what he looked like, but he gave me the worst night of my life. I'm a female, and at the time I was approximately 18-19 years old. My youngest brother was in 8th grade. It was due to be confirmed at the end of the year. For those of you who are unaware of what that is, it's a ceremony performed in Catholic elementary schools that sort of confirms your faith and dedication to the religion before sending you off to high school. For this ceremony, the person being confirmed has to have a sponsor that is 18 years of age or older, and also has to be Catholic themselves. Thus, my brother chose me. Personally, I had moved on from Catholicism, as I did not agree with a lot of what I had learned, but I accepted my brother's request, as it was very important to him. Fast forward to the day in which my brother was being confirmed. As a sponsor, my role is significant but short-lived. From what I can recall, We simply placed our hands on our sponsor's shoulders, while they made their promise to God and the religion itself, and promised to support them on their journey. I may be missing a few details, but that's the basic gist of it. Thus, after our portion is complete, they request that we leave the stage and join the crowd, to watch the remainder of the ceremony. Due to the fact that the church was quite packed, my family was standing along the back wall, so I walked off the stage and through the crowd to join them. There was not much left in the ceremony at this point, so it ended quite quickly. The students and priests began leaving the stage. They had to venture around the crowd, thus walked along the walls as opposed to going through the middle. That day I was wearing a blush-colored high-neck blouse, a black knee-length skirt, and gray nylons that had a black velvet rose pattern on it. As I mentioned, my family were up against the back wall of the church, preparing to move ourselves out of the way to make room for the students and priests that were making their way towards us. We congratulated them all as they passed, and began saying our hellos to the priests as they made their way towards us. However, the very last priest in the line, who looked to be about 80 years old, stopped dead in his tracks while in front of where I was standing. The priest then proceeded to slowly look me up and down, twice, with a very unnerving smile on his face. Following this, he leaned in and whispered the words, "I like your pantyhose." I was immediately set on edge. I moved in closer to my family as he continued to follow the line. After a few minutes, my mom turned to me and asked me if I was okay, as she saw the expression on my face. I advised her as to what just happened, and she was completely disgusted. My mother thought about saying something, but I advised her not to do so, as I didn't want to ruin my brother's day. She reluctantly agreed. As soon as we were able, we made our way out of the church, and decided at that moment that we were never going back. I'm an uninteresting man in my late 20s with a stable job and a happy family. I had never once entertained the notion that I might one day be the target of a stalker. So here's my story as a warning to everyone. You don't have to be a typical pretty young lady to catch the eye of a stalker. I don't know if this makes sense, but I am a habitual yet very casual Facebook user. I don't post a lot, but I do check my newsfeed often. One Saturday night I was doing a quick round on Facebook before I went to bed when I received a friend request. I accepted it without hesitation. Just about every friend request I receive gets accepted because I don't ever post anything very personal. As I said, I have a very casual approach to social networking. I do a quick glance on the profile that had friended me and saw that it was obviously a fake account. Not thinking much about it, I put my computer away and fell asleep. The next day I was having lunch at a friend's house, having completely forgotten about the friend request from the night before. My phone buzzed and I saw I had gotten a message from a coworker of mine, Maya. Although Maya and I worked together and had a few mutual friends outside of work, we didn't communicate much other than when it was about work. I checked it, assuming it was work-related, and I guess, looking back, you can say it was. To get the gist of it, the Facebook account that friended me also friended Maya, and had bombarded her with insults and accusations of being a whore and a slut, and every other name in the book. The person took it a step further by messaging Maya's husband, saying that she was cheating on him with a coworker. Maya wanted to know if I knew who the person was. I explained to her how I accepted every friend request and had no idea who it was. I then proceeded to unfriend the profile in question. Maya explained to me that she already had suspicions on who it was, and just wanted to see if I could confirm it. But let's rewind back a few weeks earlier. I had received a friend request from Carrie. It struck me as odd because although we worked at the same place, we never actually met, never spoken, or even made eye contact within 20 feet of each other. We worked in different departments, but I had to walk through her department to get to our lounge. That was the furthest extent of our interactions. I only learned her name when she friended me on Facebook, and I recognized her picture. I'm not sure how she found out my name. Carrie also friended my wife's profile, and subsequently started sifting through my wife's posts and photos, liking and commenting on several of them. She began interacting with my posts as well, as though we were good friends. At work though, I would still walk by as usual and still no interaction. I found it odd, but I didn't think much of it. The mysterious Facebook account continued to harass Maya until she told the person that she knew it was Carrie and was going to call the police. I thought that was the end of that, but I was very wrong. Over several weeks I began getting more friend requests from girls looking to hook up with me. Obviously I knew they were all fake, and for the most part I ignored them. I also began getting notifications from my Google and Facebook accounts about suspicious activity on my profile. Most of the time it warned me of failed login attempts. One I specifically remember said my Facebook account was actually logged in from somewhere unusual, and asked me whether or not it was me. It wasn't me, and I should have been more concerned, but for some reason I didn't care, which was stupid, and even after that I didn't bother to change my password. At the time I viewed all these activities as random, isolated incidents. I had no valuable information on my account, and didn't have any private secretive messages. So what harm could a potential hacker do? A few months pass when one day, my wife gets a message from Carrie stating that she had a high-end video camera and was looking to start some amateur filming. She wanted to know if we would help her by letting her film our family for a day. Remembering what Maya had said months ago, I was reluctant but wanted to give Carrie the benefit of the doubt, so we agreed to tell her that we would schedule a time for whenever we weren't busy, and left it at that. Once again, I have yet to actually meet Carrie. More weeks pass by and we completely forget about scheduling the film shoot with Carrie when she messages me about it. I apologize about forgetting about it, and turned her down when she asked to reschedule, suddenly feeling very uneasy about the whole thing. Then things got weird. She sent several gifs of stick figures doing sexually suggestive motions. I didn't respond, so she asked, "Funny, isn't it?" I immediately texted my wife to log into my Facebook profile to observe the messages. Not wanting to be rude, I agreed with Carrie as of the humor of the gifts, and carried on the conversation. She proceeded to send me old photos from my abandoned MySpace account that I had completely forgotten about. It was around this time when MySpace had been revamped, and people lost a lot of cherished memories. Somehow she dug mine up, and decided to share them with me. Things escalated quickly from there. She began talking about her body, and how she wasn't attractive, trying to bait me into complimenting her looks. She wasn't beautiful at all in the traditional sense, but she wasn't exactly hard to look at. I wasn't falling for it though. Then she hit me with something out of the blue. She asked me about my cock, and suggesting that it was probably really big. I decided that that was enough, and stopped responding. Of course my wife was reading the whole time, and we were texting back and forth about how funny and weird this all was. I continued to go to work and still awkwardly never actually met her. I especially didn't want to strike up any conversations after that. Carrie messaged me one final time asking me for a favor. Maya had blocked her profile, and Carrie suspected that Maya was saying bad stuff about her, so she wanted me to check her profile to confirm. I told her that I wasn't going to spy on Maya for her, and that was that. Just between us though, I did check, and no, Maya couldn't care less to waste her time talking about Carrie. Around this time, my wife got a text from an unknown number. The person knew her name, and was trying to remain anonymous, and was also trying to flirt with her. We were with a bunch of friends at the time, and we all thought it would be funny if we all text flirted with this person. Once again, I never thought to connect any of these occurrences. Carrie eventually quit work, and I continued to get suspicious activity that I stupidly continued to write off. I had pretty much forgotten all about Carrie. Then I would say over a year later, my wife drops a bomb on me. A good friend of ours started texting my wife, saying that I was sending very inappropriate messages on Facebook. I had been busy running errands all day, and hadn't really checked my Facebook at the time. I found that my password had been changed, and when I finally logged back on, all my messages had been cleared. I had no idea the extent of what happened, until I started hearing from more people that I was being very suggestive and nasty to them. The thing was, these were not random women on my friends list that were targeted. These were women that were close to me, good friends, my wife's sisters, and my friends' wives. These messages weren't holding back either. They went all out in graphic detail about what I wanted to do to them. I felt completely violated and humiliated. I couldn't imagine how the women felt. My wife and I were really close to our families and friends, and every other week or so, all of our friends would get together and drink, barbecue, watch movies or sports, and hang out. We've had several families over and never had a problem. All of them said they understood what happened, and that they knew it wasn't me. Deep inside though, I could see that they felt that it probably, potentially, possibly was me. Over time, more and more of them stopped coming over, to the point where my home started to feel empty. I confided in my wife about how I felt that they thought it was me, and she rebutted that I was being paranoid. She argued that our friends were just busy with their lives, and they would eventually come over again. I learned that someone had created a Facebook account using my name and picture, and continued harassing the same women. Some of them posted a picture of the conversations with me on Facebook. She commented that it really could be me, because that mystery person talked just like me, using the same vocabulary. She also stated that the person knew my friends and family extensively. My heart instantly shattered after reading that. I quit checking my Facebook for the longest time, and I guess I fell into a mild depression. I felt miserable. I told my wife that I wanted to disappear, and strongly considered quitting my job of 7 years and moving away to start over. I know now that I was being quite irrational, and thankfully my wife stayed strong for me through it all. I felt I needed to defend my honor, and started gathering alibis of times, people, and places I was around during the time of many of those messages. My wife brutally told me that she couldn't believe I was weak enough to let a no-life dumbass on Facebook put me down and make me feel that way. Which was true. I am and always have been a mentally strong person. I always look for the best in a bad situation. But for some reason this affected me differently. I can't explain why, but I felt extreme shame and guilt for something I didn't even do. Without my wife's support knocking me back to reality, I don't know what would have happened. We advised our friends to just ignore the person, and eventually everything stopped. From time to time I still get random friend requests, but I don't accept them anymore. I don't have any proof that this was all the work of Carrie. It just all happened during a time when she injected herself into my life. My friends have started coming over again, but it hasn't felt the same ever since. I don't know if it's them or just in my head. My wife and I came to the conclusion that Carrie reveled in the misery of others. After tormenting Maya, she moved on and targeted me, trying to ruin my marriage and distance me from my friends. And she did this for no reason other than the fact that she enjoyed doing it. I'm pretty sure she hasn't stopped, and left me alone only because she found a new victim to harass.
I do recommend telehealth. The whole process has been extremely easy. The staff are exceptional. The sign up, a couple of minutes, answer questions.
Left me alone only because she found a new victim to harass. When I was 15 years old, I started a LiveJournal account. At the time, a lot of my friends were also using the platform. It was basically early social networking, where people with similar interests would come together and read each other's blogs. I had only been posting for a short while when a guy began to comment on my entries. He said his name was John. It really should have made me more suspicious that there was a grown man trying to reach out to me through the internet. He claimed that he knew my friend Dale, who was 2 years older than me. We attended the same high school. I contacted Dale and asked him about John, to which he replied, "Oh yeah, John's awesome. We met on LiveJournal." He talked the guy up like he was super cool, and I should totally interact with him. John continued to leave comments on my journal frequently, but in addition to that he began to email me. One of the first things he sent me was a screenshot of his computer desktop, where he had assembled a collage of pictures of me he had copied from my LiveJournal account, which made me super uncomfortable. I told Dale about it, but he just laughed it off, saying that John was just fucking with me. I decided to let it slide because I trusted Dale. After about a year of awkward emails from John, a woman named Jillian contacted me who claimed to be John's sister. There was some fucked up, convoluted story about how they weren't actually siblings, but they were raised together. I can't really remember all the details, but she began to send me extremely vicious messages, followed up almost immediately after by apology messages where she would talk to me like I was a puppy, saying cutesy shit, like how darling and precious I was. After about a week, I began to suspect that Jillian didn't exist, and was created by John to further harass me, or something to make himself look better. Shortly after that, John began sending me interracial porn, and made extremely racist comments about them. That was enough for me, and I blocked both him and Jillian. In retrospect, it was right about then that I should have filed a police report. John eventually found a way to contact me with another email address. I'm not sure how. Maybe Dale told him. He tried to apologize for his behavior, but I just ignored him. I had had enough of this craziness. Around this time, Dale moved to another city with two of our mutual friends, one of whom I've kept contact with. He warned me that Dale and John started talking a lot on the phone, and he suspected that John was supplying Dale with pot, because Dale had started smoking constantly. The idea that Dale and John were becoming so close made me very uneasy, because Dale knew my home address, phone number, and all kinds of other personal information. Shortly after, my discomfort was validated when I received an email from John stating that he was visiting my hometown soon and intended to swing by. I emailed him back and told him that if he ever contacted me again, that I would go straight to the police and press charges against him for harassment, as I had saved every email I ever got from him or Jillian. Shortly after, I received a call from Dale's roommate, who told me that Dale had received a call from John, who was enraged after I had sent him that email. I decided that I had to cut Dale out of my life as well. He had become untrustworthy, and was letting his own life fall apart. All he ever did was smoke pot and play video games, mooching off his roommates and other friends for money and food. After a few months, his roommates kicked him out after an incident occurred at their apartment, where someone had tried to break down the door, looking for Dale, who owed him money. Apparently having nowhere else to go, Dale moved in with John, who turned out to be a 50-something-year-old trucker who didn't have a sister named Jillian. And it turned out that John wasn't even his real name. As far as I know, they're still living together. To this day, I still have no idea what motivated John to keep contacting me. I just know I dodged a bullet. Had I been more receptive or less cautious, he may have drawn me into his web of drugs and lies, and ruined my future. Sometimes I do feel bad for Dale, but honestly it's his own dumbass fault. But I do hope that he someday turns his life around. I know John and I never officially met, but as far as online communications go, I hope I never encounter this deranged man again.
There's always a reason to be afraid.
I worked for a company that allocated labor to rural areas of Australia. Basically what you did was tell them when you were available, and they'd send you to a remote farm for a few weeks, where you would do whatever they needed done. It was hard work and long hours, but good pay and good fun if you got in with a nice group of workers. When this occurred, I was working on a large property. I was told it covered roughly the same landmass as the state of Maryland, USA, about 9 hours from Sydney City, and the property property itself was about 40 minutes from the nearest town. In short, it was in the middle of nowhere. I was working at the farm clearing bushland with 3 other guys my age from the city. Our boss was a guy called Jeremy who owned the farm and supervised us while helping out with the work. He was pretty laid back and was generally really good to us. This summer in particular was very hot and the work was hard. So one day when the temperature hit about 38 degrees Celsius or 100 degrees Fahrenheit, Jeremy decided to give us the afternoon off. He said he knew of a water hole on the farm about a 25-minute drive north. I was keen for a swim, but the other guys just wanted to relax for the afternoon. So him and I hopped in one of the work trucks and started heading across the property. It was mostly wide, empty expanses with a few clumps of scattered bushland. Jeremy wasn't much of a talker, so we drove more or less in silence. After about 20 minutes, however, he suddenly perked up and jabbed me in the ribs. "Do you see that over there, beneath the 2 dead trees?" I should mention here that if you're not familiar with inland areas, particularly those in Australia, they are brown or red and mostly flat and bland, meaning any bright colors stick out like a sore thumb. So you can imagine our surprise when we could see a large blue angular structure far off in the distance. We steered in this direction, and as we got closer, we realized it was a huge blue shipping container just sitting in the middle of nowhere. Jeremy was perplexed, and I asked him if he knew what it was, but he obviously didn't. He said he hadn't seen it when he drove through the same area about 5 weeks before, and he wanted to go and see what it was. Initially, we pulled to a stop about 100 meters away from it. At this stage, I had a really bad feeling. The whole thing wasn't right. It's hard to explain. But if you can imagine seeing such a foreign object in the middle of a huge barren expanse, it had to be something weird. Jeremy, however, wanted to investigate, which I understood, given it was his property, but in truth, I was really anxious. As we got closer, things got even more bizarre. There was a big diesel generator behind it thumping away, and a CCTV camera on each side, all motion activated so they buzzed from side to side, following us as we moved around. I tried to reason with Jeremy, something along the lines of, "With all this security, someone obviously doesn't want us here. Let's just go." He brushed me off, however, reminding me it was his farm. Whoever had put this here was trespassing, so he wanted to go inside. Despite all the surveillance, there was only a small padlock on the huge door. He had bolt cutters in his toolbox, and after a bit of a struggle, we broke the lock and went inside. The first thing I noticed was the rush of cold air as we got in. The place was air-conditioned, which I must admit was quite pleasant on such a hot day. We searched around for a light switch, but I could already see this was some sort of IT setup. There were flashing LEDs all around the place, and the sort of hum you hear when a hard drive is working hard. When we finally switched on the lights, we could see a sophisticated, albeit somewhat cluttered, office setup. There were hard drives the size of bar fridges and other computer equipment lining the walls, sometimes piled 2 or 3 high, and plastic storage boxes scattered around the far wall, and several desks with computer monitors arranged in the middle, complete with rolling office chairs. At this stage, I felt like I was in one of those nonsensical dreams. This made absolutely no sense. We wandered to the middle and sat down at the desk to see if the computers could give us any idea of what was going on here. My heart was racing, and I just wanted to bolt. We had been seen by CCTV, so if anyone was monitoring, they already knew we were here. Jeremy, on the other hand, was adamant we had to get to the bottom of this, so I put on a brave face and started looking through the computer. This went on for a while, but in short, neither of us had a very high grasp of technology outside of Facebook and Microsoft Word. And the best I could describe it from my lay position is that it was endless lists of computer talk. It was like how the old Napster or LimeWire download screens looked like, just constantly picking up and receiving data, then recording it on several windows. I gave up on the computers and walked cautiously over to the far end of the container to the big pile of storage boxes. By then I was pretty sure no one else was there, as there was nowhere to hide really, but I was still incredibly on edge. I decided, against my better judgment, to see what was inside all these boxes. My brief sift through this box still makes me feel sick to my stomach. It didn't take me long to realize that this box was full of posters, DVDs, and photos, all of explicit and hardcore child X-rated material. One thing that still gets to me is what we'd seen until the cops arrived almost an hour later. They arrived with 2 4-wheel drives, and we jumped in and led them back. This is where it gets worse. By the time we got back, the container door was open, and there was fire inside. We had only 2 small extinguishers in the cars. We did very little. The fire department took an hour to get there, which, by that stage, most of the damage was already done. An arson report by the federal police found almost no evidence of the computer.
YouTube Premium is ad-free YouTube and exclusive access to all things VIP.
comes to mountain trails, the Quadlock Mag Bottle Mount is your ultimate companion for hydration and convenience.
When the days are cold and the cards are folding, the saints we see are all made of gold.
When your dreams they sail in the woods, we hear the words of all in the bloods run stale.
I wanna hide the truth, I wanna shelter you, but with the beast inside, there's nowhere we can hide. No matter what we breed, we still are made of greed. This is my kingdom come, this is my kingdom come. When you feel my heat, look into my eyes, it's where my demons hide, it's where my demons hide.
Don't get too close, it's dark inside. It's where my demons hide, it's where my demons hide.
Silence call us the last of all. When the lights fade out, all the sinners crawl.
So they dug your grave and the masquerade will come calling out at the mess you've made.
Don't wanna let you down, but I am hellbound. No, this is all for you. Don't wanna hide the truth. No matter what we breed, we still are made of greed. This is my kingdom come, this is my kingdom come.
When you feel my heat, look into my eyes. It's where my demons hide, it's where my demons hide.
Don't get too close, it's dark inside. It's where my demons hide, it's where my demons hide.
They say it's one you made, I say it's up to fate. It's woven in my soul, I need to let you go.
Your eyes, they shine so bright, I wanna save their light. I can't escape this now, unless you show me how. When you feel my heat, look into my...
After 40, our skin needs more than just a basic moisturizer.
3-in-1 anti-aging cream.
I go ooh ooh, you go la 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 la, la la la. I get la 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 la. I wanna get what I want. Don't stop, give me what you got. 'Cause I can't wait. I need more. Don't even talk about the consequence. 'Cause right now you're the only thing that's making any sense to me, and I don't give a damn what they say, what they think. 'Cause you're the only one who's on my mind. I'll never ever let you leave me. I'll try to stop time forever. Never wanna hear you say goodbye. I feel so untouched and I want you so much that I just can't resist you. Hard enough to say that I miss you. I feel so untouched right now. Need you so much somehow. I can't forget you. Go crazy for the moment I met you. Untouched, and I need you so much. See you, breathe you, I want to be you. Ah la la la, ah la la la. You can take time to live the way you gotta live your life. Give me all of you. Don't be scared to see it through the lonely nights and wanting more. Don't even think about what's right or wrong or right. 'Cause in the end it's only you and me, and no one else is gonna be around to answer all the questions that behind in you and how you're meant to be. So even if the world falls down today, you still got me to hold you out, and I will never let you down. I feel so